The Chernobyl disaster occurred on April 26, 1986. This tragedy became one of the largest man-made disasters in history and left a massive scar on the territories of Ukraine. Pripyat was supposed to be a perfect progressive town. It was built along with the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant for the young and prospective employees of the highly developing nuclear industry. Now it's a ghost town and it was uninhabitable for 37 years. After the tragedy, a massive cleanup effort was undertaken, including the construction of a concrete sarcophagus to contain the damaged reactor. This put a start to the decommissioning process of the power plant.
Now that a new sarcophagus has been built, it is planned to operate for around 100 years. During these 100 years, we must completely dismantle the fourth power unit and there should be nothing left of it. As they say, only a green lawn.
In February of 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Chernobyl was one of the first places that saw the enemy troops. Petro is one of the power plant workers who spent 36 days under the Russian occupation.
On the 23rd of February, I drove to work at night. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I realized that was it. Explosions, planes flying overhead. I understood that this was war. And I saw that Russian tanks and armored personnel carriers were already standing in front of the admin building with barrels directed towards Kyiv. Yes, see how it was. They entered the exclusion zone from 3 directions. This way, and that way.
The exclusion zone consists of 26,000 square kilometers area surrounding the site of the Chernobyl disaster. Its purpose is to restrict access to radiation emitters and stop it from spreading. Many scientific enterprises operate in this zone. Serhiy is the director of Ecocenter. They are responsible for measuring and controlling the radiation levels in the exclusion zone. He has been working here since 1986, but what he saw after the deoccupation stunned him the most.
That safe contained the keys to this safe. And this safe contains everything that has been earned by hard work, and they opened it. And here I have literature and reports that are vital to us. But they didn't touch anything, they just threw it on the floor. If I were in their place, I would have taken everything.
It was calculated that Russian forces caused around $1 million of damage just to the ecocenter. What they couldn't steal, they damaged. But luckily the most precious things, the lab devices, remained mostly untouched. Besides material damage, Russian troops caused chaos around the territories of the zone, neglecting all safety protocols. Red Forest remains to be one of the most contaminated areas in the world to this day. This is where the highly radioactive forest was buried underground after the Chernobyl tragedy in '86, and this is exactly where Russian troops dug trenches a year ago during the occupation of Kyiv region.
That's where they were, one of the most polluted places. They even dug up everything there. They dug, ate, and slept there. It will affect them.
The exclusion zone also serves as a unique scientific and ecological reserve, providing an opportunity for researchers to study the long-term effects of radiation exposure. The Chernobyl Radiation and Ecological Biosphere Reserve takes up most of the area of the exclusion zone, but after the deoccupation, only 1/10 of its territories are safe to work on.
On this site, we see areas damaged by fire. This fire occurred after the occupation. It spread to such a degree, over 1,000 hectares, because there was a mine hazard. Really, our electricians got blown up on mines. Therefore, a decision was made to prohibit the movement of fire engines on the territory, and the fire was contained only by asphalt roads. In total, over 30,000 hectares of land were burned in the reserve last year.
Besides scientists and facility workers, the only people in the exclusion zone are the rare locals who stayed here even after the tragedy of '86. Galina is one of the few residents who still live in the city of Chernobyl. She survived the nuclear catastrophe, so when she saw Russian troops enter her yard, she was ready to confront them.
Why are you pointing your machine guns at me? Imagine that your mother, your grandmother, is standing in front of you, and my son would come and point a machine gun at them. How would you feel about that?
1 year after these events, Galina regrets nothing. The only thing that she misses from the peaceful life is her son, who went to serve in the Ukrainian armed forces. Today, most of the enterprises that operate in the exclusion zone have restored their functionality, at least partially. Still, there are hundreds of years left until this area becomes safe. For this scar to heal, safety and isolation must be ensured.